Welcome to Talking Sci-Fi. And your host and starring Sci-Fi Sean and Just Randy.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of This is Talking Sci-Fi with Sci-Fi Sean and
Just Randy.
Hey, we're going to be talking about more older television shows. We've done a little run of series of this, and we've featured everything from theme songs to people to animals. Now we're going to talk about vehicles that are in older television shows.
Right.
So when you think about older shows, and when I say older, I mean from the 90s back.
Okay.
You watched a lot of TV like I
Yep.
did.
Yep.
What car, out of all the vehicles, comes to mind?
The VW Bug and Transformers.
The VW Bug and Transformers. That's
And
an animated.
Optimus Prime. Yeah, it is animated.
Animated?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you that.
But growing up as a kid, that's what got me into VW Bugs, and that was my first car because of Transformers.
Your first car was a Volkswagen?
VW Bug.
I can't see him. Big fat guy in a little car. Yeah.
I wasn't really fat then, but I had 5 of them.
I've always pictured you fat. So,
Yeah, no, I wasn't always
it's
fat.
like always pictures. Everybody pictures me as an asshole, but you just got to live with that.
Yeah,
so.
a hairy one.
Yeah. Oh! Anyway, you got me on that one. Was the VW Bug yellow?
Yes. And see, when they come out with the movies, they changed it to a Camaro. The Bug was there, but
Yeah, but Bumblebee, they did a VW Bug. Did you watch Bumblebee? He was a Volkswagen. And Bumblebee.
yeah, but I'm talking about the animated series.
Oh,
He was a
the
Volkswagen.
animated series.
And then
okay.
when they went to with
movies.
the
Oh.
movies, they
I
changed
jumped
it
to
to
the
a
movie.
Camaro.
Randy's usually the guy that oh yeah, I saw that TV show. I'm like, no.
All
Okay,
right, so-
I'll give you Transformers.
Okay.
My iconic car, I have many of them, but when I think of television series in a car, we think of Michael Knight, the Lone Crusader, and the Knight Rider.
Awesome.
KITT, Knight Industries 2000.
Awesome.
KITT, which was voiced by William Daniels, which had another big connection to another television show that has an iconic car, Magnum P.I.
Oh, really?
He was in Magnum P.I. He was the
Oh.
butler, Higgins.
Oh, okay.
Yep, that was Knight Rider.
And he was the voice of Knight Rider.
Yep. I love that show so much. I wanted to be Michael Knight. I had hair. I got my hair permed to be curly like Michael Knight. I wore the black leather jacket. I went to the airbrush car show. They had
Yep.
an airbrush guy there. I had him do Michael KITT on the front of it.
Yeah.
I love the premise of it. It was a guy that went undercover because he got shot in the face.
Yep.
And they had to do reconstructive surgery. He was Michael Long, was Michael Knight's original name, and Devin, which was the leader of the Knight Foundation, which was I forget what Knight's first name was, but he had this foundation against law for law and order,
Yeah.
and they'd go around and helping the little guy, much like the A-Team did, but not forced to like the A-Team
Right,
pretty
yeah.
much did. And KITT was a Trans Am. 1985 Trans Am. Have to look that up. But it could talk, it was bulletproof, and it had everything from ejection seats to turbo boost to
The rockets
everything. It was a James Bond car on steroids.
in America.
It was a robot. The car was a robot.
Yeah.
Episodes that I remember, Michael Knight's twin, which was actually who they based Michael Long on, there was another Knight, and he was the heir to the Knight Foundation, went and built a semi-truck called Goliath that was like KITT, and that was KITT's biggest nemesis with Goliath. So they would have fight, and I think he actually destroyed KITT. So like a lot of television shows and movies, when you come to the cliffhanger, something always happens dramatically. And I remember KITT getting destroyed,
Right.
and they rebuilt him for the next couple seasons. And they added stuff like super pursuit mode, where
Right,
you could
yeah.
push a button and Kit's the trunk would open up. There'd be rockets, and they'd have a spoiler that popped up on the top, and then these other little jets that came out. And he'd do super fast stuff.
Right, yeah.
And they would do this, and Kit could jump great distances. The car was the character in the show. Michael Knight was the sidekick, in my opinion.
I got you.
So he would go around solving crimes, and like most of these things, like the old Godzilla movies, you wouldn't see the big fight scene to the very end of the thing. You wouldn't see Kit do his major thing until the very end of it. They did a lot of remakes. The worst one they did, they remade it back in the early 2000s, and they used a Mustang for Knight Rider.
I never watched it.
You'd be glad, because it wasn't just one; it was a bunch of different Mustangs.
Really?
It was like a club, and the voice was a lady, which I'm not got a problem with that. But William Daniels, who was already had passed away at this time, he couldn't voice it. Yeah. Then they did another remake movie before that where they made a newer version of a 90s Trans Am, and Kit could turn into a boat.
A movie or a series?
It was on the television series, but it was a television series movie based on Knight Rider. And he was red. But it was William Daniels' voice and everything. So,
really?
So Knight Rider was my iconic car that I remember. You'd mentioned earlier in one of our other podcasts about the Munsters mobile.
Yeah,
That was like a dragster kind of a car. I thought that was a really iconic
A model.
Right.
Yeah, something.
Who else we got for cars in these series?
The Mystery Machine, which is another animation.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo, where are you? We need your help right now. I don't know if that was the true meaning of it. We're going to have a Mystery Machine at Sci-Fi Bartow in February.
Yes, we are.
My friend Eugene Haggerty, another big fan of the show. We mentioned Battlestar Galactica in another show, and he was a big Battlestar Galactica fan. But he's built a Mystery Machine, and you can see it live and in person, along with other hundreds of science fiction themed, anime themed, movie themed cars at the Sci-Fi Bartow event, which is February the 20th, 2021, which is happening. Yes, the Mystery Machine.
Yeah.
Crammed all the kids in there.
That's right.
Who was the owner of the Mystery Machine? Did Fred own the Mystery Machine, or was it Shaggy? I can't see Shaggy owning a vehicle.
Yeah, but they portray him and Scooby-Doo living on the beach in it.
Yeah, I know in the movies.
So I guess it's Shaggy's, right?
Yep. But how could...
Yeah,
he didn't have a job or anything,
and all he did was eat.
All he did was eat.
Maybe he was a food critic.
I was not a fan of the first remake movies.
You were? You didn't? Oh, man.
I love the cartoon series, but I did not like it because you always pull the mask off the Jeeper Creeper guy and all that. It's Old Man Smith down from the farm, because he was trying to save his farm and scare people off. Villains on that show, they had the space alien guy with the skull, and they had the
family member, the little.
You talking about Scrappy Doo?
Yeah, Scrappy.
He turned out to being a bad guy in the movie.
Yeah,
he was just a pain in the ass in the
cartoons. Yeah.
I wish I could think of some villain names. Run them right here, because they had some really great Jeepers Creepers, the Creeper. They had all kinds of. They had a swamp diver, the swamp thing, a scuba diver, and then they started introducing like the Three Stooges and Sandy Duncan and all those people were into the Harlem Globetrotters.
That's right. Yeah.
All that they would start introducing Laurel and Hardy. They did a comedy hour with those guys. But yes, the Mystery Machine, very iconic.
Yep.
Close your eyes. Starsky and Hutch, you mentioned them in another podcast. They had a great car. What was that? What kind of car was that?
Hell, I don't even remember.
Gran Torino.
There
you go. Yellow with the black and white stripes.
So in the movie it was red and white.
It might have been red and white.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking of the other car that the other cop had in Starsky and Hutch.
Oh.
Columbo had a car, and it was a French-made car. He mentioned it many times, and you'll have to look it up and show a picture. It wasn't a Fiat. It was a sedan.
Oh.
And he had and that car sticks out in my mind.
Yeah.
The A-Team's van.
Oh, absolutely.
They even redid it for the movie. The black van with a red stripe down it, you know, and it was Mr. T's van.
Yeah.
Rode around in it. I love that. That's iconic. Of course, we mentioned Thomas Magnum's red Ferrari. Which was Robin Masters, which is who he lived at the house of, which turned out to be Higgins at the end. William Daniels. He was the rich guy.
Yeah.
All right. Who else? There's not only cars. There's air vehicles.
Oh my God, Airwolf and
Jan Michael Vincent.
is that who that was?
Yep, he was the main guy. Also, Ernest Borgnine was a little old guy, the sidekick guy. It was Airwolf and that could fly. I mean, it was a Knight Rider that could fly.
Right. Yeah.
But it wasn't a smart vehicle like Knight Rider was. Knight Rider was the first smart vehicle.
Oh my God, it was, wasn't
Isn't it? That's great. Take that in your pipe, Elon Musk. We know where you got your ideas now. Knight Rider. I bet he was a huge Knight Rider fan. Self-driving cars. Who would have thought about that? Glenn A. Larson would, Mr. Musk. Glenn A. Larson. You plagiarist. How dare you? No, I like Elon Musk.
I do
awesome.
too.
You had Blue Thunder, which was actually a movie. Then they made a television show about what was Black Hawk helicopters with a big gun turret on the front of it.
Yeah.
You know, and it was a cop show. Schreider was in it from Jaws. Roy Schreider. He was in the movie.
I loved both of those.
It was a great show.
I think my favorite was Airwolf and then Knight Rider, and I liked all those. Yeah.
Not only vehicles of air and land, there was a show called Riptide that they featured a boat in. It was.
That sounds familiar.
Yes, Riptide was also another '80s show, and it was along with the lines of Simon and Simon, which was Gerald. God darn it, what was that actor's name that had the mustache? He was in a lot of TV shows, but that was another great cop. They were like private detective shows. Robots and spaceships are another great add-on. We mentioned the Cylons from Battlestar Galactica.
Yep, that's right.
Another iconic vehicle you could think of, if you will. Tweaky from Buck Rogers.
Buck Rogers,
24th and a half century. 24th and a half century! That was Duck Dodgers, but it was Buck Rogers. Mm-hmm. Dun, 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 dun. Captain William Buck Rogers, astronaut. Frozen in time to be woken up 500 years. Dun 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 Tweaky. William Daring.
They obviously had no budget when they made that.
It was all 80s. I love those theme songs. What theme song sticks out in your head the most?
Oh, Miami Vice, man.
The one I did earlier, right?
Yeah, God, I love that show.
I love all television theme songs.
I know you do.
Even up to the new shows, you know.
Yeah.
Seinfeld's theme song was always stuck out in my head.
That's crazy that you remember all that shit.
I am a TV show theme song fanatic. I love it. Star Trek is my love, but my TV shows, you know, we haven't talked about Star Trek other than cross country or cross character reactions and stuff. Vehicles, they're all through television shows, and we're missing out on a lot of them. Dukes of Hazzard. I wasn't going to bring that up because it was controversial.
I don't care. If I had it, I would drive it.
Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm, fighting the system like two modern day Robin Hoods. Yeah! They got crappy though when the cousins came and took over. And then they found a flying saucer that I'm sure Boss Hogg had something to do with.
Right, yeah.
And they made a flying saucer, and the General Lee got beamed up. They did a ghost episode where the Duke boys were trying to fool Boss Hogg and Roscoe P. Coltrane that they died, and they painted the General Lee in glow in the dark paint.
Yeah.
Do you remember that episode?
I don't remember that.
And they had a way to drive it, and it didn't look like there was any driver in it. Oh, that was one of my favorite episodes of the Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh man, I have to check that out.
Daisy Dukes, that's where that
term come from.
What was her Jeep's name?
Oh, I don't know. Who knows?
Dixie.
Was it?
Yeah. There's a white Jeep with a eagle on the front of it. Boss Hogg, Sorrel Brooks. He was a great actor. He's been a lot of things. I know. I love old television.
I love that show, and I couldn't tell you what her Jeep's name is.
I can't believe we're going to leave out the General Lee. We can't do that. And, insert picture of General Lee jumping now.
Yeah.
Right over my head.
Got it.
I love it.
What'd you think of the movie? I loved it.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I liked how they went with the whole racial thing because they went up to Georgia and they had the rebel flag because his cousin painted it.
Yeah.
Called it the General Lee. There's a group of gang members or what are those people called? Protesters are going to tear the General Lee down. We have a guy that used to bring the General Lee to Sci-Fi Bartow, and he is nervous to do it. I think it's sad because that's not a racist statement to me. That's a television icon, and it always will be in my world, you know.
Yeah.
But think about it: cars, vehicles from television shows. There's been hundreds of them. The Mystery Machine, you mentioned that. Knight Rider, Mr. A-Team's van, General Lee. They're all over the place, all different colors, shapes, sizes, with all types of ways that they can jump over bridges and talk.
Helicopters flying upside down.
Helicopters doing loop-de-loops and flying upside down. Check it out. If you have another car you'd like for us to talk about, please email us at or see us at Facebook.
Everywhere.
We're everywhere.
Talking Sci-Fi.
This is Talking Sci-Fi.
YouTube, Facebook.
Everything.
Instagram. Twitter. I mean, the list goes on.
So we really appreciate you guys listening to us, and we'll be back really soon with some more awesome episodes that hopefully Randy will not misinterpret to watch the movie, not the television show, or vice versa.
I should have known.
I'm not a remake movie guy, and you know that.
I'm in and out in an hour and a half, buddy.
I know you are. Hey, we'll see you next time on This is Talking Sci-Fi with your host, Sci-Fi Sean and his sidekick.
Just Randy.
Take care, live long and prosper, and remember, just a good old boys doing this talk show now.
Oh.
Fighting the system like two modern day talk show hosts.
There you go. Ow! Woo-ha!